The Cursed Beauty of Nyarugwe. I still remember the day she was born. It was a night of heavy rain, the kind that made even the elders stay indoors, muttering prayers to the ancestors. The midwife, old Mama Kiza, had been called in the middle of the storm, her frail body wrapped in a thick shawl as she hurried to the hut of Jemba and Nafala. Their first child was about to come into the world, but when the baby, a girl, was born, something happened that no one in Nyarugwe had ever seen before. Mama Kiza, a woman who had delivered countless babies, gasped and stumbled backward. The two other women assisting her clutched their chests, eyes wide with terror. Within seconds, they collapsed onto the mat, their bodies limp, their breathing stopped. Jemba, who had been waiting outside, rushed in when he heard his wife's screams. He saw the midwife and the helpers, lifeless. Then he looked at his daughter. She was beautiful, not in the way of ordinary children, but with a face so perfect, so mesmerizing that it was almost unnatural. Even as a newborn, her beauty was too much to bear. Jemba felt his heart race, his legs weaken, but he did not die, nor did Nafala. They alone seemed immune to the curse. Word spread quickly through the village. The elders gathered under the great baobab tree, whispering among themselves. The chief, old Wekesa, rubbed his white beard and spoke gravely. "This child, she is not normal. She is blessed, but she is also dangerous." The people feared what they did not understand. Some wanted Jemba's family to leave, to take the cursed child far away, but Wekesa shook his head. "She belongs to Nyarugwe. We must protect her, and ourselves." And so, a decision was made. The child, named Ayana, would be kept hidden. She would never go outside without being covered. She would not meet strangers. Only her parents would see her face. As Ayana grew, she became a quiet, observant child. She learned quickly, far faster than other children her age. Her mother taught her to read and write, though books were rare in the village. Her father, a skilled carver, told her stories of their ancestors, of the spirits that watched over them, of the balance between blessings and curses. But Ayana was lonely. She watched other children playing by the river, climbing mango trees, laughing as they chased chickens through the village square. She longed to join them, but she knew the rules. If they saw her face, they would die. At 16, Ayana's beauty had only grown more powerful. The few who caught even a glimpse of her through the cloth that covered her face would feel weak, dizzy. They would speak of seeing a light too bright for human eyes. And so she remained hidden, her face always veiled, her voice soft and distant. One day, a young man named Baraka arrived in Nyarugwe. He was not from their village, but had come to trade salt and dried fish from the coast. He was tall, with kind eyes and a voice that carried warmth. He noticed Ayana sitting alone under a tree, her head covered as she read an old book. "Why do you sit apart from the others?" he asked. Ayana did not answer. She had never spoken to a stranger before. Baraka, curious but respectful, sat at a distance. He visited the village often, and each time he found himself drawn to her. He would sit near her, telling stories of the ocean, of great ships and faraway lands. Ayana listened, though she never looked at him directly. Over time, she spoke back in quiet, careful words. One evening, as the sun set in a sky of deep orange and purple, Baraka said, "I have traveled to many places, but I have never met anyone like you." Ayana's heart pounded. No one had ever spoken to her this way. I am not like others," she said. "I know," he replied, "but I do not understand why." She hesitated. Then, for the first time, she told her story. Baraka listened, his face serious. When she finished, he did not laugh or call her a liar. Instead, he said, "If this is true, then let me be the one to see. Maybe I will not die." Ayana trembled. "No, you must not." But Baraka was determined. That night he crept to her family's hut and whispered through the window, "Ayana, let me see you." "No," she said, fear in her voice. He reached inside and gently tugged at the cloth covering her face. "I am not afraid." And then it happened. The cloth fell away. Baraka gasped. His body tensed, his knees buckled. He clutched his chest as if something inside him had shattered. Ayana watched in horror as he collapsed to the ground. He did not move. The next morning, the villagers found him there, eyes open, unseeing. His body was lifeless. The village erupted in chaos. People wailed, the women weeping loudly, the elders shaking their heads. "She has killed him!" someone shouted. "No," Jemba said firmly. "She warned him." He did not listen. The chief sighed deeply. "This cannot go on. She must leave." And so Ayana was taken to a distant place, deep in the forest, where she would live alone. Jemba and Nafula, heartbroken, visited her often, bringing food and stories from the village, but Ayana knew she could never return. Years passed and stories of her faded into legend. Some said she was a spirit, a goddess who walked among men. Others believed she had died in the forest, swallowed by the spirits. But the elders knew the truth. Ayana still lived, she still watched, and she was still waiting, hoping for the day when someone, somewhere, would finally be able to see her face and live. A dark African village at night, drenched in heavy rain. Thunder flashes, revealing a midwife wrapped in a soaked brown shawl, rushing through muddy pathways. Her dark, wrinkled skin glistens with raindrops as she grips a wooden staff. The village huts, made of red clay with thatched roofs, appear abandoned. A small hut ahead glows dimly, its wooden door slightly open. Wind bends tall palm trees, and water pools in the dirt roads. The storm rages on as the midwife enters the hut, her face tense with urgency. Inside a dimly lit clay hut, a sweating mother, her braided hair adorned with golden beads, groans in pain. Her husband, muscular with deep brown skin, grips her hand tightly. A midwife, her dark skin creased with age, kneels before them, holding a newborn wrapped in a thin white cloth. Her wide eyes reflect shock. The baby's golden brown skin glows softly. Her deep amber eyes stare blankly, and long silken black hair cascades over her tiny shoulders. Candles flicker, shadows dance on the mud walls covered in hand-carved tribal symbols. Outside, the storm rages on. The midwife stumbles backward, knocking over a wooden bowl. Her frail hands tremble as she clutches her chest. In the corner, an old man gasps, his dark brown eyes rolling back before he collapses. Jemba, the father, grips his wife's shoulder protectively. The silent newborn rests in the midwife's arms, her golden brown skin glowing eerily. Outside, villagers in colorful patterned fabrics whisper, peering into the hut. Thunder cracks as elders exchange fearful glances. Raindrops glisten on their dark skin, worry etched into their expressions. The air is heavy with dread. Something unnatural has entered their world. Under an ancient baobab tree, elders sit on woven mats, their robes in deep reds and greens. Their dark-lined faces show concern as they clutch wooden staffs. A bearded elder adorned with cowrie shells leans forward, his deep brown skin reflecting the dim firelight. A younger warrior, muscular and barefoot, grips a spear nearby. Surrounding villagers in vibrant fabrics watch anxiously, their eyes flickering with fear. Thick gray clouds loom overhead, casting eerie shadows on the hand-carved tree trunk. The council murmurs. The cursed child's fate must be decided before the village suffers further misfortune. At sunset, a veiled girl sits by a shimmering river, her indigo cloth concealing all but her delicate fingers. A bronze anklet jingles softly as she traces patterns in the damp earth. Behind her, towering baobab trees sway gently. Village huts of red clay stand at a distance, their people avoiding her. A young boy with short curls hesitantly steps forward, his dark eyes wide. A gust lifts Naya's veil slightly, revealing golden brown skin glowing in the fading sunlight. The boy gasps, his breath catching. Fear overtakes beauty. He stumbles, falling backward, his eyes filled with horror.